I could sense that his father was very abusive to him, and would beat him and stuff. So he beat the fuck out of me, and it was in another part of the mall, and they had seating. I don't know if I had photos of it on there or not. I don't think that I did, but I have a separate file, I think. Anyways, they were all sitting there. There were individuals that were up top that were sitting there, and standing. And human to human, once you hand us kittens, and if we killed the kittens, we were basically deactivated for the assassin program. The individual before he didn't kill the kid. Right after that, I was brought up, and because I got my ass beat, I was like, this kid beats my ass, but you can't even kill a kid, Like, my upbringing was pretty fucked up. Like, my stepfather was pretty brutal with animals and stuff, so animals being murdered in front of me was not an irregular situation for me. So when he handed me the kitten, I was so angry that I ended up killing the kitten in front, like just basically executing the kitten. So I stabbed the kitten in the head. When I did, the individual instructor that was in front of me was like, "Did you just do that because the other kid didn't?" And I was like, I didn't really say much. I kind of was a little upset because it was true, like he didn't do it. I felt like if I did it, that I would be more accepted. But these individuals were like, he's passed, just put him in the program. It doesn't matter, and they basically argued for the point of me being put in the assassins program. That was the start of it. But they still trained us on site. So after that, we would start doing stuff like PT, physical training. We would dress up in what looked like the Vietnam green uniforms, and like we'd have black combat boots and white T-shirts and stuff, and we would run around these courses around this mall and stuff, and do exercises and stuff like that. Later on, they decided to start doing what I would say was like battle royales, and they gave us these like rifles, and they like I put together a thing where what the body armor kind of looked like for the most part. They would have us do these battle royales, and the instructor would sit at the top, or like right in that middle area, and basically instruct us to fight each other. So we ended up going at it against each other, and after we would be shot at, there would be a device that would electrocute us in the suit that we would wear. So if we got hit, we would be electrocuted. So it'd be like as if we were being shot. From what I can recollect, is that most of these individuals are either brought into these occult groups, or that they're just mind controlled, and that the top leadership of all these groups are either draconian or reptilian and or Nordic, and that basically we're the proxies in their wars that they're having, and we're basically just pawns as a species, as are other beings on other planets. It's pretty comprehensive if you think about it. I don't think we have any humans that are actually directly in charge. They're all being controlled by the upper echelons, which happen to be aliens. The reason why I stopped is because I saw that he had a Beretta, 9mm Beretta, tucked into his back pants, and he basically let me know that if I didn't get my ass over that fence and go and get into the van, that he would walk up to the house on the property, and he would go and execute both my parents and put me in the programs permanently. And he called it the programs. His name was Larry, right? Larry Shears. And when my first interview, I never said his name, but I said where it was located, that he saw that, and he ended up dying like 2 weeks after that interview.
They're probably listening to this right now.
Oh, for sure.
Well, don't do any name drops unless you want them on, I guess.
Well, even if I don't do name drops, they still know. They'll still figure it out. So it's like,
well, are you concerned they'll come after you?
I'm pretty sure eventually they will. It is what it is.
Why do you think, like for instance, you're going public now, so why do you think you haven't done it already? Do you think they still have a use for you? Or do you think
It's because of some of my clones, and I'm still active in a lot of different units, like a lot of different units and stuff out in space. A lot of different things.
So
I said,
if you were to do some integration work and start rehoming these other clones and killing them off,
so in other timelines that I've been in, because this is, I'm not actually from this time. So to explain in layman, there's other timelines that have their own branches of timelines. There's the timeline that you guys have been a part of that's gone on for about 4 different years, and your 5th one. And this would technically be more than 6 at this point for me, but I remember 6 when I first started remembering. Pierce is a major part of that is on that he did with I can't remember the guy's name. They were walking in this little town. His Black Dragon and the Gold Key, right? And once I see that interview, I do the same thing. I work the same job that I work at with the guy's name. I ended up like they were coming down sick. And just realized that they started having flashes of memories of other timelines and stuff. Same thing.
Thanks, guys, to Scotland.
Coming around. I have one dude that ends up showing up at my house. He's done it a few timelines, and basically, I do have to do to get him out.
Look at that.
It's going to be pretty funny. I hope it happens again in this one.
what about
and then normally they stick white vans and they sit outside of my house and monitor me. Further down the road, I mean, white vans show up because they start talking about stuff with other people. I'm doing messenger stuff. And then basically they monitor me from right now, but later on, try to do what we got to do. It's not going to work out for them.
Okay.
It's a pretty interesting situation, especially like if I end up meeting with you guys. That's when they normally start abducting me and start to find out like who the individuals are that are what they're doing, who they're working with, stuff like that. My older John took the memories when he was in the captain of the ship Penny, and took the memories of when he would order her to blow up planets and stuff, basically, and then showed the planets. And when he did, he basically talked this warrior class Draco, and they interfaced. And he basically showed him images of blowing up these planets, which freaked out this warrior class Draco. And he basically was like, "I work on behalf of." I worked with Notchwaffen, and I want these individuals, I don't remember what their names were, but basically the dude's wife and kids, and Notchwaffen would basically reimburse you. And when he did that, this Draco believed him, and he basically got off the ship when those individuals, which at the time, John, but they weren't. They were like humanoid, like blue humanoids. And they brought up his kids. At that point, because he used to only be around humans, when he served soul work. And, it just shocked him. But anyways, he was in this word class Draco and let him know, hey, go back on your ship, you'll be contacted, the resource, whatever it is that you asked for them. And aboard their ship, when they started flying away, contact his ship. They did basically. At first they were like, "What?" And like the father-in-law was like, "What?" And I was like, "Go fucking ship." I was like, "They're gonna start contacting Notchwater, wanting their money. They're not gonna pay. Blow up the ship." So they ended up blowing up the ship in the atmosphere, and that warrior Draco basically picked me up, tracked me as a kid into his room on the ship, for basically dishonoring him as his protector was. I got raped into unconsciousness.
All right.
But that's what started my time in the merchant marine fleet, and then I like past that memories of being on that planet with the orange, and we were offloading. So there was these big cargo holds that we had. It basically looks like a storage shed, like the big storage units that they have that we have here on Earth that transport. They normally will wear like rags and stuff like that, like whatever clothes they had at the time when we picked them up. That's what they had, and they were all torn. You know, like they never worked for it, didn't really give a fuck as long as they were alive to be sold. Like we in that altar didn't. He wasn't enthusiastic about the situation, but you know, normally like you try to go against any one of these factions, they'll just shoot you in the head and tell you bam, or space you or whatever. So he was on this planet, and this planet was basically this is the orange, okay? And in the process of that, before we even met with orange, there was these individuals. One of them was like the second in my second for the ship, and the other two were individuals that were supposed to wash slaves and get them ready for exchange. And they were basically assholes, and they, in short form, were like, we're not going to do anything. And they started talking about wanting to fuck some of this, and my altar was like, no, we don't have time for that shit. You have to offload these individuals. We're on a time limit. And they were like, we're not going to do anything unless you let us fuck. And then, this altar was like, fuck, because if they didn't do their part, I would get punished for it. And as I was drifting off, the warrior class Draco that's on that ship that I served with, I fucking hate his guts, right? So he was asked me nicely, and I'll save him. So they showed up on the ship while I was in that suffocating, and my altar fucking hates this Draco because he raped him, remembers him raping him, so he's like, fuck you, and I actually got tired of it. It was like, fuck it, this basically picked me up. And when they decided that he was going to take me aboard the ship, I went into my secondary, and Johan went to go talk to him. And I basically took over like pain, and I was like, well, who the fuck is that? That altar basically had the outlook like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Just fucking kill him. So I was paying attention as he was talking to me. So when he talks about being on the carpet, I was eventually brought back, aboard the ship. I stood off to the side as the people that were on my ship that were in charge of me basically pulled on the carpet, and they basically reamed his ass and tried to act like a smartass when he was talking to the individuals from my group. So I sat there and we were having a back. I was sitting on the side. They were like, charge of him, which has been called the old man or whatever, quite awkward. But I remember meeting him and then a group known as Blue, and we would sell them slaves and stuff. And they were really awkward names. But the Greys that worked for the Merchant Marine Fleet, they were pretty fucking evil. They're pretty brutal. And I think the interaction I've ever had, because I've done with it's just these ones void of compassion. I'll just put it that way, because Solar Warden will take people's DNA and clone them and use them for operations too. So, I mean, from my point of view, all these factions in space are fucking scum, and they all use slavery in one way or another, one fashion or another, and they all fucking do fucked up shit to us. I don't think any of it, from my point of view.
What about, say, the Kruger faction?
I've served before. I had Harry and Kruger, but I fucking remember the old man, and I remember working in a prison for them, and I remember only speaking German, and rapists too, rapists scum.
I'm calling on every brave soul out there to join in the fight. Expose these Draco reptilians, Dracos, Draconians. And then there's the warrior class, brown and green, but doesn't matter. Draco reptilians, okay? Because there's other reptilians that I think are not so bad, like other people that we're not worried about. It's all different races. We can accept them and have a good time with them, and everything's cool. But it's these Draco reptilians and their empire that we got to overthrow, okay? Because we're not going to be free. We're not going to have a happy, true, free, open, fun, great human time on this planet until we get rid of these motherfuckers, okay? I'm telling you, these reptilians. I finally realized it. I finally decided I'm going to call what it is. And after I saw this interview with Joseph Powell, I said, you know what? Let's now we got a name here, okay? And let's say, fuck these Draco reptilians. Fuck you. You're not allowed on Earth. Anywhere near it, in it, or around it. This is our planet. Fuck you. Either I'm going to die, or I'm going to receive power from God to fight these Draco reptilians and kick them off our planet. The big problem we have is that people can't believe it. It's just too far-fetched. It sounds like a science fiction movie. You sound like a fucking idiot. Well, guess what? There's coming a time in the future people are going to see the truth. And they're going to know. They're going to know that there's a few brave people that stood up. And finally more stood up. And finally more saw. Finally more evidence came. And finally they did something about it. You got us enslaved, friends. Don't you know? Everything's under their control. The news, the internet, the medical system, the education system, all police forces, everything. Okay? And it's hard, but it's true. It's not humans that are behind this. It's the non-humans that are controlling elites behind it, and they're using ultra advanced tech, coercion, blackmail, all the dirty tricks you can imagine, and then some. I mean, like the dirtiest book of tricks you can imagine, and then using ultra high tech that could be in excess of 1 million years in advance of us technologically. That's how we just have no hope on our own of busting these reptilians unless we have God helping us. So that's why I say, look to God, because this whole thing is not overthrowing these reptilians. It's about saving your soul. That's why God has this whole impossible situation in place where it's so hard to believe. Because only the righteous man who says, you know what? Fuck this. Somehow, fuck this. He no other way, and he's going to eat it. I'm going to survive it. And what's everybody going to think? I don't care. Fuck this. Okay? And when you do that, God will reveal the way he did to me. He revealed what's going on here so that I can't fight, so that I am aware. Who's going to join me? Fuck Draco reptilians. Fuck these Draco reptilians. Then we got to pass laws against them. Then we got a war. Of course, humans would still be doing bad things even without these reptilians and their satanic ritual use. Okay? Would humans on their own be eating human flesh and drinking human blood and raping children? No. Where do you think pedophilia comes from? These reptilians and their reptilian spirits attach themselves to people, and the reason they get them to sexually molest children is because they can program their mind to do that, because then that reptilian that's attached to that human can then suck the energy, that prepubescent. I mean, this is the kind of world we have going forward. You're going to tell me that you're not going to stand up and do something about it? I mean, why not join me? I mean, I don't know who I can get to join me to expose these Draco reptilians. because they have a whole civilization out in the world and underground and all this stuff going on. And they have a whole system in place that keeps people asleep. And the only thing that's going to change the disgusting situation that we have is if people wake up and start against it. The power of God. So, you know, there's people that are on the side of, well, you know, I'll just sit back and let God do everything. No, I think we have to take a proactive role in getting rid of these things. We're supposed to. I mean, if you see, you know, rape and murder and corruption, every aspect of our society, how can we ignore it? How can we say that there's no Draco reptilians doing this? They are doing this. They have military control over our planet. They control everything. All the governments, they kill everybody who starts to wake up against this or starts to fight against them. Well, they can't kill us all if we all start waking up and fighting against this stuff about reptilians. Wake up. Let's expel the Draco reptilians. Expose, expel the Draco reptilians. Expose and expel the Draco reptilians. They are the ones doing this to us. They are behind the false medical system. They are behind the fake education, debt-ridden system. They are behind the fluoride in the water. They are behind the chemtrails in the air. They are behind the food that makes us fat and dependent on the healthcare system that makes us dead. Okay? We gotta do something about it. We control our world, military control of our world. But we can do it with the good fight if we stand up and oppose these beings. We say if we pass laws to first find a way to expose them. It's not good. If you had advanced equipment to do this, money, resources behind this, but they control all technology. Okay, they control all money and all big business. But if people wake up en masse, they can't control everything all at once. And if the entire world is working on this, to fight these Draco reptilians, we can free our world. That's why I named my website freeourworld.org. Freeourworld.org. Help me to get the word out, to start exposing this, because we're changing. Identify the Draco. I ain't leaving without a fight. I ain't leaving without a fight. Why don't you join me?
We kept ascending up above the Earth's surface, and we went way above the Earth's surface. We're still in a tunnel, even above the Earth. It was still like a whirlwind around us. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was there. And we went way above until we came out of this tunnel. So at that distance, now we were way out in space. So the Earth was like just a ball, you know. So I was way out in space. I know that again sounds far-fetched, but you know the whole thing. So it's not. It's the truth. So and as we were out in space, you know, it was phenomenal to see the world hung on nothing. It says in 26:7 that he hanged the Earth on nothing. It's hung on nothing. There's nothing holding it up, and you see it there. It's amazing. If all you could see it, I'm telling you, astronauts, most of them get saved that go out in space when they see all this, because you just can't believe that this thing's hung there and turning so perfectly. And the Lord's allowed me for a brief moment to experience His power, to feel part of His power. I could feel the control He has over everything. I mean, just a piece, because I saw the vastness of space and all the stars and all the planets. And He's in control of every one of them, and there's billions of them. And everyone has a name for him. And He knows everything that's going on everywhere. It was just mind-boggling to feel the power He had and all that, and watch the Earth turning at 1,000 miles so perfectly, and the water not spilling onto the land, and look at the ocean. What's keeping it from moving? You know, it could spill on land just a little bit. It would wipe out a lot. but God holds the land there, or in its place. And I knew that he understands every thought man has, every bird doesn't fly and fall to the ground. He knows every hair in your head. All that came into my mind, rushed into my thoughts. Just being with him to grasp that power that he has. It's just unbelievable. He's in control of everything. There's nothing he's out of control of. Okay, so we sometimes think that, God maybe doesn't hear our prayer, or why is he missing it? He doesn't miss anything.
If you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure word. King James Bible.
There's a way to make that. My dad. It was not a conspiracy of witches.
Download V today. Planet Earth, across the vastness of space, a mere dot in the Milky Way galaxy. Vibrant with life, with no known equal in the entire world. Among Earth's 8 trillion species, most impressive of all, my awe at the way in which human beings are put together only grows by the day. I am completely grateful to live. Spectacular. I wish you were a recipient of my gratitude. The explanation that there is a God who made it to be like this is the most rational one. People think that you need something else, God or whatever. You need to open eyes, see the glory of nature, just for what it is. Early attempts to explain life occurred in ancient space. Who simply spoke life into being. That idea is of no help at all. In 1859, Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species provided a scientific alternative. Much better than this. But the insistence on choosing evolution or God has been vigorously challenged by some scientists.
To claim that here's the scientific account and here's the creationist account, the two possible choices is profound bacon.
Respected scientists who insist on their viewpoints simply to understand. The hard-reaching controversy is whether belief in compatible with evolution or if Darwin truly dispensed with the creator. Until Charles Darwin made his impact on the world, how life had emerged and developed had been deeply puzzling. Darwin's insights famously shed scientific light on an unsolved mystery.
Darwin is the Newton of biology. Darwin's comprehensive theory of biology
There are so many puzzles.
The idea that organisms, including us, all came from, as Darwin said, one or a few forms, and ultimately we all came from inorganic matter, and it all happened now.
Bacterium, the tree, you, me, all descend from a common microbial ancestor.
Darwin's theory of evolution explores the process through which all of life on Earth evolved over millions of years from one single cell. The theory has dominated scientific thinking for over 1.5 centuries.
Evolution is no longer a debated nation, relatedness of living things.
For some scientists, Darwinism not only explains how life came, it disposes of the creator. Without Darwin, we would have all this good time in the biosphere and no accounting for how it got there. With Darwin, we can have a fun-going there's nothing supernatural about it.
Before Darwin came along, the apparent design of life looked like magic. And everybody thought it was magic. Everybody thought that God did it. It's so complicated and so bad. Now, that was the really big problem. Darwin solved that problem.
The very conception of God has been muscled off the scientific playing field.
Some members of the Christian community also believe that evolution is hostile to God, and for that reason oppose it.
Yeah, I don't find that the evolutionist approach to the science really fits naturally with Genesis is primarily telling me where I come from. It's without a shadow of a doubt that God literally took the ground and out of it.
Many Muslims also find it difficult to reconcile Darwinian evil with their faith.
Some people, God, he created Adam. Adam, all living.
Darwin's idea goes through everything and adjusts everything, and the people who don't want to give up the whole thing are threatened by the very idea of Darwinism.
You don't need a big man with a white beard up in the sky. I think the Big Bang is a better explanation of
But a significant number of scientists reject the stark choice of God or evolution. For them, evolution is evidence of God at work.
God the magician would be a God who is the stuff of cheap parlor tricks. Brings organisms into existence in a pot of smoke. I think it's a very juvenile view of God as being the ultimate explanation of the natural world. The very things we investigate science. For me, as a believer, this all makes perfect sense. This is basically science teaching us something about what was really happening with God's created plan.
One can be both a Christian and a committed evolutionist. I'm enthusiastic Darwinian. And I've never seen any conflict between the two.
There's something the Roman Church is taught as well, that it's created. And Catholicism presents of Christian believers.
There is a small minority of Muslim scholars who do argue that evolution is compatible with the teaching of the Quran that God is the creator. But in general, it's still believe on creation.
The greatest thinkers within Judaism in the 20th century, Rabbi Cook and Rabbi Soloveitchik, accepted the theory and integrated it into their theology. I do like
When I look around for really intelligent people who are also religious, what I really find is a convenient layer of gauze that covers the tension points.
I think the notion of inherent conflict between Darwinian evolution and theism or Christianity or in Genesis, the origins of living organisms themselves included as a natural history.
It's not a scientific document.
Biblical creation is a kind of scientific theory. Death is just Genesis 1 is the idea that God's within nature and nature is a soul. So you have this
Many biologists believe God not only created the evolution, but beautifully simple process of life on Earth.
The important contribution of Charles Darwin was to help us understand processes behind such beauty diversity. But controversial, simultaneously became fundamental.
Do atheists need evolution? Yes, yes, yes.
Compelling question is how Darwin's investigation into the process of the existence of God and whether such hostility is inevitable or merely assumed.
Darwin actually was never free. So no one can.
A story of Charles Darwin's impact on science. When he joined the University of Cambridge in 1827.
Someone. Go. White swan set. I am. Okay. But not interference. Oh, the crackers snacking I get on the main internet. It's nothing unusual. I'm just watching this live weather kind of sky watching. So in UK it's 10 to 9. We might flash up of redness all over the skies. Weather watching the solar flares, the Negro Wormwood, educate.org website. These, excuse me, oh dear me, I'm gonna go. The skies are so toxic. Does anybody look up anyone? The weather engineering subject, anyone that can look on that website and streaming above. It's not my website, it's a very helpful, good website to look at various subjects. One of them is weather engineering and why does it go on? Dean Witterton, there's a good one. He's been shouting out about the controlled weather on the planet for years. I'm showing full screen. So the white is sun stimulator. Natural sun's meant to be there somewhere. All the red iron oxide in the clouds. Yeah, so it might just flash red into a can. Oh, goodness sake. By 9 o'clock, isn't it? I should I take time difference in America? I know you're from different channels and who you're connected to. Don't worry about that. But you won't be. No, man. I'm not an interesting channel, really, because I get shadowed no matter what channel I come on. In England, not these where you can see the nature of my videos that I make or upload. So, I might one day edit the intro, but sometimes it's random like. Nobody comes in because I'm blocking the main internet connection. So, I don't know if anyone knows I'm like. It's not just standard hacking. It's been monitored. Powers that be, shall we say. And I know I haven't done anything wrong. Someone requires not much you can really find out about me. Because really know. Neuro monitoring, brain interface, hacking the mind. I'm being monitored 24 hours a day. The automatic AI type watching is now what it's like in England. Been like that for a while. For me anyway. Get ready for sudden changes. Very, very soon. Next week in October. Well, September, October. It's a film out on Amazon Prime, and it's all about civil unrest. Sure. I mean, it's not very good makeup of a movie, really. The script is very poor. It's always thinking out what they're going to do. I won't be too surprised if it's going to kick off in Ukraine and blame it on Russia again. And then next thing you know, it's like nuclear war. Won't be too surprised. Banks of wars up with someone. And then they would sort of, I'm just assuming there could be. Who knows? The times we're living in. Now this is getting really white. Yeah, that's interesting. I will watch this live. After dark. Another dark.
That's right. Sure it is. Crashing markets, surging prices. Hello, it's nice power here.
You can see all the hacking going on. So we're going to your channel and choose who you're connected to. This is who was monitored on King's website. Who makes videos. This is who monitored why you do that to Diana Kane when drunk? Look at that. Why you do that? Look at all these old videos of hers. Do you know who's the only one that has old videos? You got to go on a certain website. Shall we see who's actually that individual is connected with? Dark Angel from the Bells, a good channel. Oh look, this individual. You can get them off the computer so I can. That's a good channel. These two channels, Jason A and Planet X, is really good. Can't Stalk a Survivor. Now this is Will's sub account. That dog. That's a good channel. Will. These two channels, Jason A and Planet X, really good. Drama Unleashed. Now this is Will's sub account. That's a good channel. Yeah, it is Will from TR News. His sub account. There you go. What a giant. Bingo. They fell out with Diana Kane. And whatever's gone on between them, their business. Not mine. You might love you for that one. They fell out with and yeah, this is interesting talk. Angel, he's America, he does some good streams. Tammy Hayes, she needs to look at herself in the mirror. Why do you want to troll somebody for 12 years? Yeah, this is really good about Planet X. And down stalk and attention. See, wet dog Will. I know it's you. After dark. Yeah, this is really. Anana. Wow. She's with a bloke that travels on the road. And she does witches and spells and she's making a good living. She's got a good voice and she does join Tammy's live. Yeah. So really, he's got a really good mixture of genuine channels. but unfortunately will. You're mixing with certain people. Scott is very good. He's the general guy. Because he knows I use no spaces trying to. So yeah. Don't just say money. You're joking me. Why would you have that? Why would you create? You've got 26 no content. Well, you're joking me. Why would you have that? A month ago, you're creating about certain individuals. You're very good at computer skills, aren't you? Oh dear Lord. Don't get sucked into the drama. Anyway, let's go back to the live weather channel. So thanks for popping in, Will. How you been keeping? Wow, look at the skies now. Wow, that was red. What are those flashed up red? Look at that white sky. Right, I'm in this room. I'll put it this way. But there you go. Will, how are you? Delayed reaction. Will, how are you? Right, so let's show you now what these people do on the gang stalking online. Right, so let's show you now to show you some videos you might want to watch. So this is a guy that popped into the chat called Will. I know what he's really called, and I know his other social media platforms. Right, show you some videos you might want to watch. So this is a guy that popped into the chat called Will. Alright, they're very good at computers. So anyway, you might want to just independently electrical diode. When she goes live, so a couple of the videos I know they're old. This is an old one, this is an old one. And how they actually, I'm not going to get involved in the drama, but this is also not quite factual. So this is how I know it's Will popped in. So anyway, hope you're doing well, Will. But I would be careful of the company you keep. You know the real issues of targeting and gaslighting. It's hard, isn't it? When you take the mickey at people from years ago when you used to be married your husband, and then take the mickey at somebody else. It's hard, isn't it? When you take the mickey at people from years ago. But also you got some helpful information, which is very important, you know. Put that on the background to stop frequencies. Yeah, helpful. Okay, that's it for me. We've got an earthquake one. 11 years ago. Was that an earthquake in California, was it? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So much going on. Chemtrails, they live, we sleep. I like that one. That's quite interesting. But anyway, here we go. Signing out.